This time on Custom Works, the Meat Wagon is all legal, out on the road. We're going to get some gas, and then there's going to be fire in the back. Let's get to the workshop. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the Meat Wagon this week, and we're going to be looking at some of those finishing touches. It's not quite finished, but my God, it's close. We are so incredibly close now. We got a gas certificate. The back is all legal. That was really hard to get. We had to have a lot of pressure tests and a lot of that, you know, like spray soapy water on every single connection we've done, and a test machine that was so accurate that, like, when it was plugged in, the guy put his hand on a flexible hose with the gas in, and the numbers went up from the heat in his hand. That's how accurate it had to be. Okay then, so we really are in the finishing sort of last moments of this project now, I hope. And what we've got to do, we've got to make things like this edge here. If you can see this edge, you know, it's just gappy and horrible. So we need a piece of angle. So I've had this stainless angle cut, and you know, it'll go on there. And now I shall drill it and screw it on, and it makes everything look nice and professional and finished. Now, it's very difficult to see, but I've not just had it folded. I don't know if you can see in the shine there, but I've also had a little kink put in it, just on there. So when it goes on, it doesn't just go up, but as it pushes in, that bit really sort of digs into that bit, or it will do when it's screwed on. And it really, you know, like, it really grips on. And I'd recommend that on any sort of trim you're ever having made. If you just have it to like the 90 degree, you just know them bits are going to stick out a bit. But if you just crimp them in a little bit, it just sort of grips the surface nicer. If you want to see more of this, my car Dualitron has got tons of this stuff inside it, all over on the interior, or it did have when I built it 15 years ago. I don't know how much of it is still there. And yes, I did really knock my elbow there, and it hurt. Anyway, on with the job. So then, there's tons of this edging. It's stainless steel, so I've sharpened my drill bit in my lovely new drill. I tell you what a way to break it to you all out there that the drill you've seen, known and loved over the past few years is dead. Yeah. What a way to find out. Anyway, now I'm just going to drill loads and loads of holes. So let's go. And so on. There really is a lot of these holes to drill. So then, I've now drilled loads and loads of holes, and it is in position, but it's in position with screws. And I don't want screws, I want rivets. So what I've done, just to make sure it's tight and in there, I've screwed it on, and now I'm going to go and take all the screws out and then drill and rivet it on, because I wasn't sure with the rivets this way. You know, I'm not going to quite get the adjustment and alignment that I wanted, and now I've got to go over it all and swap the screws for rivets, because rivets are just that little bit tighter and more hygienic, and they just look a little bit better. And it's all about the details. Yeah. And so on. We had comments recently of more talking and less action.
No, less talking, more action.
Less talking, more action. Okay then. Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of talking in this one, but talking about really cool things and things that have come together over the past, well, I've been on this nearly 2 years. Wow, it's a long time. But anyway, we were doing these chrome trims last time, and now they're all on, riveted into place, and also we've done all like the sealant around as well. We've even got like trims here so nothing can fall down the back of this hot plate. We've got everything over here trimmed in and everything sealed up, all with the silver sealant. And one thing I did have to do for safety is make this heat shield where the deep fat fryer was, just to protect it, because as we can see on the other side, it's fiberglass and painted. And the catering van gas expert man, he was saying
gas
that
inspector.
The gas inspector, that's the guy. He was like, yeah, it's probably just not going to last. You need a heat shield. So we made this heat shield. So everything here is now stainless steel, and this sort of guides everything nicely up to the vent in the roof. That's the extractor, and I made this using some cookware and aluminium and painted it in, and that's come out good. Keeps everything in the same sort of vibe inside the truck. Okay then, so back under the Meat Wagon, we have a small reversing camera bought off Amazon for like 30 quid. And what this is going to do is give us a view out the back, and we'll be able to see where this back edge, which is protected by the skid guard, is in relationship to the road. And we're going to test this today in our test drive to buy gas. So we've got that there. Right, and this is what it looks like from the inside. It's a very hazy view, but you can see there's the tow bar, there's the ground, and we can accurately see as you're driving along. If it's, if it's catching, you can hear it rubbing a bit, but you're looking really cool. You can see just how much it's catching, or you can just give it a little bit more air. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but you can actually see this bit rising from the ground. This piece here. And then dropping back down. But it just gives you a really accurate sort of, gauging of how high off the ground you are. Also, on the gas thing and safety, we fitted this extra solenoid. Where is it? There we go. Which is here. And this is, there we go, pointing with the side cutters. And this is connected to a micro switch, so that you can't put the gas on inside the van unless the meat flap is open. Right, and so another safety feature that the gas man suggested was, because it is quite small in here, some sort of gas isolation valve when the doors were shut. Now, obviously this door can be open, but there's no real through air. So, unless this flap, the meat flap, unless this is actually open, there's no gas on. And what happens is, when we flick the switch there, and you can, I can hear the click of the micro switch there, and now the gas will work with this through ventilation, but without it, it won't. And I think this is quite an important safety thing, actually. It hadn't occurred to me, but thankfully, the gas super safety, what's the guy?
Gas inspector.
The gas inspector, that's the one. The gas inspector, he really had some good ideas. He was great. Funny that being the gas inspector. So that's another great safety device on the Meat Wagon. Continuity has never been the strongest point of this channel. I'm wearing totally different clothes, and this probably happened 2 weeks ago. But let's just pretend none of that happened. Let's pretend I'm actually there. Right then, so now it's time to take the Meat Wagon down to the gas place to get it filled up with gas, ready for the gas inspection. We are at the gas filling station. Not gas like petrol, no. Actual like butane, propane. Why is someone shouting at me? Well there, as usual, we were told off at the gas place for filming and told to stop filming because apparently just a small camera is going to make the whole place explode, just leave a big crater and end the world. I don't think that would have happened, but then again, you know what I mean, safety third, that's the way I'm rolling. Now let's take a cool drive home and get some excellent shots of the Meat Wagon cruising along. So, one part of the Meat Wagon, which it's taken a long time to get there, has been that big black panel on the front, which of course is going to be the light that says the name of the company that's going to make the food in the Meat Wagon. It's took quite a while, but using some of this stuff, some of this like plastic LED stuff, which is really super flexible and cool, we have made the light with the name in it. So here we've got the front of the Meat Wagon on the bench. And around the back here, there's a load of wires and stuff and general detritus of work. We've made it actually work with the name in, and just before we fit it on the van, it's probably a good time to take a look. So let's take a look at the name and how this super green neon stuff looks. You know, it wasn't expensive at all, and I've just glued it onto the back plate. A lot of solder joints that the Messiah of Wire hot rod legend Lee Cox has done. And yeah, let's take a look. So, to reveal the name in neon, there we are. And it's going to be Good Lads Burgers. There it is, in its neon glory. And of course we tinted this, so when it's off it's just black, when it's on it looks like that. And that is another of the nearly swore, the million jobs that have had to be done right at the end. And it really is true that the last 5% is like 95% of the job. It's like, we think we're really close. We've driven it on the street, you know, we've got the MOT done and everything. And yet it still seems like there's a mountain to climb in, just little bits and bobs, but we are getting there, and the neon sign is one step further towards that final goal of the whole thing being done. And don't forget, it ain't done till the burger hits the bun. Oh yes! Okay then, so there's a new switch in the back of the Meat Wagon. Now at the minute it's this plastic switch, but we are going to put it with a nice chrome toggle switch. But when I flick this switch, absolute magic happens. Now let's take a look at that magic, because it is the sign that is on the front of the Meat Wagon. Now it is LED sign, LED neon. It came out really good. Me and Lee got that together in like a morning of intense work, a lot of soldering, a lot of wiring to make that work, but it's come out so good. Okay, so that's all we've got time for this week. Part 2 is going to be out very soon, and we're going to look at even more details on the Meat Wagon. Until then, don't forget, click subscribe, bell end icon, all of that stuff. I thank you very much, and good night.